let's get into the real nitty gritty. All right. Everyone has been into this whole Apple Vision Pro thing, right? So let's just see what they talking about. I've seen some stuff about it, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not surprised. I'm not even like anticipated.
Formula One car in front of me. Wait, I'm gonna turn it on.
Definitely do that.
Hold on, let me turn up, just tap it. It looks cool though.
I'm so excited for this one. Well,
Hi.
here it is. This is the new Apple Vision Pro.
Hold on, I'm sorry. It's a little loud in my ears. Let me turn this.
Vision Pro
Virtual reality.
Metaverse,
Meta what?
the future of the internet.
Gotta be honest, I've been tuning out the news about the metaverse for
Okay.
a while now. I just didn't really get the vision.
Jesus, this is a heavy headset.
It's so cool and so memeable at the same time.
Who's going to be using this?
Failed to make virtual reality and completely mainstream.
Who is this for? Who is this for?
But now I see something totally different. A much
Okay.
more optimistic future of what this kind of tech can do for people like you and me. So I want to show you what this tech can do right now, V1, and give you a glimpse at what it might be able to do in the future, V10. Because if we get this right, this could be huge, if true.
And that's exactly the thought. If we get this right, which personally, from the things I've seen on this Apple Vision Pro so far, I don't think it's worth the buying off rip. I think you should wait maybe for version 2, 3 to come out, because I feel like right now it's a lot of things that could still be worked on.
Apple Vision Pro
Augmented reality
Virtual reality.
How sick is that?
but I don't quite know what to make of it. Is a profound technology, blending digital content with the real world.
for spatial computing.
Impossible with today's tech, but that's the future.
We're going to be metaverse first.
Experiences like nothing we've ever seen.
Okay. Show me some.
This thing is huge. People have been imagining the metaverse for decades, in science fiction and in real life. For basically as long as we've had computers, we've been trying to jump into them or bring digital stuff out into the real world. And now, this is supposed to be the next big step. You've probably seen a bunch of great reviews about this device. To be clear, this
I haven't
isn't a
seen
product
any.
review. I'm gonna show you some of what this V1 can do. And
Okay.
it is incredible. But my big question is, what do we want V10 to do? What is this device's potential? What's the big picture here?
This is what I
is
wanna
it
hear.
For? If
This is what I wanna hear
Apple
right here.
Macintosh helped unlock personal computing, and the iPhone helped unlock computers in your pockets, what is this device supposed to unlock? My most optimistic take here, that I want to make the case for in this video, is that this kind of technology isn't really for an infinite computer monitor or even playing solo surround video games, though those are very cool. This kind of tech feels to me like the most direct path to a totally sci-fi ability I never thought I'd be talking about in real life. Something
Okay.
that is physically impossible in the real world, but maybe not in the digital one. The ability to jump to any place, anytime, instantaneously, and be able to bring other people to you. And the word that normal people use for that isn't VR or AR or spatial computing. It is teleportation. I
Okay.
really think that
Show me
digital
some.
teleportation
I'm ready.
is a
Show me
possible
something, bro.
future here,
Pull it
and
out.
That is the optimistic
Well, it's already
thing I'm
out, but,
shooting
like,
for.
show me.
So, before you think I'm crazy, we need to go see an expert.
Here we go.
Here we go. That's Marquez Brownlee, king of tech reviews on YouTube and friend of Huge If True.
I kind of forget that I look ridiculous after a little bit because I'm immersed, obviously. I'm thinking about what's in front of me.
I remember how ridiculous I look when I look at you.
Yeah, exactly.
The first thing you notice when you put on the Vision Pro is you're not holding anything in your hands.
Which is trippy compared to other headsets that I've used, where usually the cursor inside the headset is from a handheld controller. But in this headset, the cursor is my eyes. I just look where I want to go, and I go like.
I will admit though, that is actually pretty cool, because I know people were talking about the Oculus. I don't know, I've never had an Oculus, so I don't know if it does that. I think the Oculus, you have to hold things, right? But with this, I think that's pretty cool how it literally follows your eyes, and basically that's how it can see like what you're pressing on, what you're clicking on. I think that's pretty cool.
that.
That's a major change that makes this feel much more intuitive and sort of real.
There's a lot of instances where it's like magic. You look at the thing, you tap your fingers together, and it's like psychic and it knows what you're looking for.
And that's a theme for this whole story, how real stuff feels. The immersive thing that you described, I think, is a big part of my thesis here, which is that we already have ways to hear each other's voices and see each other's faces and play really dope video games and watch movies in high def. Except that over the last several decades, how real those things have felt to us makes a big, big difference in how we use them. Like, FaceTime is fundamentally different than a phone call, which is fundamentally different than a telegram, but like how real and present and immersive and like...
Yeah.
Can I be serious about this stuff?
Totally.
But like, realism matters to us in our primate brains, and some of this feels very real. Some of it feels totally silly, but
Some of it
feels very, very real.
Okay,
So,
show me.
let us show you some of the
There we
most
go. That's
awesome
all- okay.
ways this device tricks your brain.
So go ahead and hit the home button.
Okay.
Then over to the left, you
Okay.
see this little pop-up that says apps, people, environments.
Yeah.
Hit environments. And then they're actually identical for us. So you can pick any of the ones you want and I'll go to the same place. We'll see the same thing.
There's a little button on the top of the device, and you just spin it, and now I'm more fully immersed. So now it's 360.
What else is it doing that makes
I
those
would
environments
say,
feel so real?
technologically speaking, the one thing that you've already noticed is how rock solid objects appear to stay in their XYZ space.
Yeah.
I would credit that to the sensor array on the outside and the R1 chip in the Vision Pro that is processing all of that in real time constantly. Plus they add like little shadows
Okay, see, this looks a lot better. Like, look how large it is, you know?
on the ground. So if you have a window in space and you move it back, you see the shadow move back, all that stuff. Like, it's very cleverly thought out. But I think that's another big one for Vision Pro specifically. Yeah, these are just really good high-res micro OLED displays.
Tricking your brain with images and video isn't anything new. The story goes that in the 1890s, when audiences would see this early short film of a train approaching, they'd instinctively back away. Today we've gotten more used to flat screens, but a dinosaur coming out of my wall does look really real. How? Well, once you're in a headset, it can take advantage of how you see in real life. Each of your eyes takes in a slightly different view of the world. This is called stereopsis, and it's one way our brains register depth. These headsets create the same effect by showing each of your eyes slightly different images. We've been using this trick on ourselves for hundreds of years, but this device and devices like it have gotten really good. We're getting closer to being able to feel like we're teleporting anywhere instantaneously. But what really hit me in the feels was that now the photos and the videos that I can take feel much more like memories. It feels like I can teleport into them. The new iPhones have this setting that you can turn on called spatial video, and it lets you take videos and watch them back in 3D.
Seems funny to say something so personal while wearing a Vision Pro. I have a old voicemail that my grandfather left like several years before he died that I listen to all the time.
Okay.
Because it like feels like visiting him a little bit. Like, it feels like I'm on the phone with him all of a sudden. If I could sort of step back into like my childhood home like this, or where I could like sit with like my niece when she's a baby, or my grandfather or something, like that does feel like maybe it's not quite there yet, but I would put on a headset for that.
Just take a second and think about that. What moments or people would you go back to if you knew it would feel real? In my opinion, this is why this device feels so new and fascinating.
I mean, but do I need this device to necessarily look at my pictures? No. But I do think it's cool to be able to want to look at something and put it kind of at a full screen in front of you, you know, as if you're actually witnessing the memory again. I do think that concept, that idea is actually pretty cool, you know. And I guess they could also use it for different innovative reasons as well.
Fascinating.
So much of what I try and do is help people feel like they're there with the tech. So if I could have the like Boston Dynamics Atlas robot in person with someone, and they're seeing like me shove it, and maybe it like reacts to them in some.
See, I ain't gonna lie. I've seen this right here. This is like supposed to be their like, you know how Apple has Memoji, I think it's called. This is supposed to be the Memoji for this. I don't like this because it does not look good. Like, I don't know. It's, once again, there are just certain things that I think they need to work on and really get better with. Cause something like this, and this is how it looks when you FaceTime people, by the way. I seen a video about this. Like, this is how it looks when you FaceTime people. This is what they see. Of course, they don't see like your actual face. They see this. They see your little memoji thing. And it's nah.
Like, there's so many things that I can think of that I would want to do that would be fundamentally different about storytelling.
It feels like a natural technological step forward to give you like the freely rotating head.
But you see how it moves with his head and stuff like that. I like that aspect, but I feel like we're still behind. You know, it's like, okay, we're one step forward, but we're also still behind in these aspects. You know, like, it's just something like that I feel like could have been done better, because he looks extremely cartoonish, or like you're looking through a blurry glass, basically. Like, it's not even the same hairstyle. You feel what I'm saying? It's like a Gumby, if you guys know what a Gumby is. But like something like this, I don't know. It's like, if I were to buy this, I try to think to myself, what would I really use this for? And I think the only thing, well, for one, just to set the record straight, I would never take this outside. I have no reason to take this outside of my home. Just because for me, I like to make sure I'm aware of all my surroundings. And I know you can see within it, but I feel like it also limits like how quickly you can move your head, you know, how you're paying attention to things in your peripheral. So just to start that off, I wouldn't go outside with this. But inside of my house, I would probably use this for primarily movies and probably texting, maybe. Like, let's just say I want to watch a movie. I say, oh, boom, I'm watching a movie, full screen, whatever the case may be, right? And then someone texts me, I can pull it up on the side. I can text them from my hands, basically. I think that aspect is pretty dope. And I think that's probably that's like the only thing I would use it for. But I think even from that point, I don't think it's worth necessarily buying right now as it is, honestly.
To look around the environment and like sit where I'm sitting and see the things that I'm seeing.
So, this device lets you trick your brain to teleport into other places and back into your own memories. But what about teleporting to see other people right now, like in real life, and feel like that's real? That's the future that I most want with this tech. And it's getting there. Okay, speaking of cool tech, I want to show you genuinely.
That's exactly how I feel. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like we're almost there, but we're not there yet. I feel like we're close. We're very close, but we're not there yet.
Calls have changed our world. Now think about the way video was just 10 years ago. My team collaborates from all around the world. We live in totally different places and brainstorm together and feel like we know each other. I live across the country from my parents and I still feel like I see them all the time. I'd like to see them more, but I can FaceTime them. I know there's nothing that truly replicates being in person, but ultimately what we've been chasing this whole time with our telecommunications tools, from the telegram to the telephone to video calls, is how close can we get to feeling like it's real? The Vision Pro has taken a big step toward this future. You can now bring objects, digital objects, into the room with you, and they do feel shockingly real.
I'm gonna place my Formula One car just right in the middle.
The reflections are actually genuinely incredible.
And it doesn't jiggle like those old versions. It looks like there's a Formula One car in front of me.
It looks like you're gesturing at an actual car, which I'm sure on camera looks pretty silly, but I see it. This wing, pretty incredible. And here's the front wheel.
Yeah.
But my favorite part was finding out the entire engine is basically from here to here.
Yeah.
And the exhaust coming out the back right there. Yeah. So this is the engine, and then I can actually take the cover off of the engine. So if you just pinch your fingers and take the cover off, you see the V6 now?
Wait, I'm gonna turn it on.
Definitely do that.
Yes!
Now the aerodynamics are moving over the top of the car.
Okay, look. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, my bad. I'm not gonna lie. That is pretty dope. Only because, do you know how like different that could make like studying? Like, let's just say you're a medical student, right? And you're studying about, I don't know, the skeletal system, right? You could pull up an actual skeleton in front of you. Like you could pull up an actual skeleton in front of you, and you could like take it apart and stuff. What is a Quest 3? Like it's basically the same as this, I'm assuming? Or am I tripping? Or is that the same as like the Oculus as well? Or isn't Oculus strictly for PlayStation? I'm not sure. But I do think this is pretty dope. Okay, spatial computing on a Quest 3. Do you really need a Vision Pro? Let me know, bro. Because personally, I don't think we need the Vision Pro. I think it's a good step, but I don't think it's necessary right now. I don't. Let me see. Okay.
All of your Apple devices to the Quest 3 headset so you can have a spatial computing experience and save yourself $3,000.
What? The Apple Pro is $3,000?
Release of the $3,500
$3,500. Boy. What the $3,500? Nah, y'all crazy. Y'all crazy.
Vision Pro headset, Apple has rebranded mixed reality as spatial computing. But with a few free apps on the Quest 2 and 3, you can enjoy a similar multi-screen setup which incorporates your laptop or PC. Like and subscribe to CNET for more how-to videos. Let's start with Bluetooth devices. The Vision Pro uses hand tracking and gestures to control apps, as does the Quest 2 and 3. But let's face
Bro, you see what I'm saying? Apple got people thinking that this is such a new thing where we got things like the Quest 3 where you can still use your hands. I was thinking that everything else prior had like handhelds, you know?
it, that will take some time to get used to, and 9 times out of 10, a good keyboard and mouse are the easiest ways to interface with our machines. First, I'll connect my Apple Magic Mouse and then my Magic Keyboard. To connect your Bluetooth mouse, go to Settings and select Devices, and then click Pair. So now I have a mouse and keyboard connected, and it's starting to feel pretty spatial. And finally, I'll connect my Apple AirPods, and I'm good to go. The Quest headset will remember those devices in the future to easily connect again.
Okay.
The Quest headset has a built-in browser called the MetaQuest browser, which will allow you to open up to 3 windows and multiple tabs to get some real work done. So as you can see, you can multitask using the MetaQuest browser. Right now I'm working on my script in this window while watching a CNET video in this window, while surfing cnet.com in this window. Unfortunately, the Quest 3 and 2 only allow you to use one app at a time, but you can have multiple windows open on the Firefox browser, for example, or the MetaQuest browser.
Okay,
So
that's
watch
not
a video
bad.
on how to play the drums while shopping for drums while having my drum kit visible right in front of me. And you can use the MetaQuest browser alongside some Quest applications
I see.
like the MetaQuest remote.
Do a comparison. Ain't this a comparison? This is basically a comparison. It says spatial computing. Do you really need a Vision Pro? But I guess we can get something more in depth. Let's see. Okay, cheap MetaQuest 3 beats the 3500 Apple Vision Pro. 5 big reasons. Hold on. I could really use this.
Is the $500 MetaQuest 3. It's an AR and VR headset that came out last year. And this, my friends, is the $3,500 Apple Vision Pro that came out in early February. And there are 5 things that makes these headsets vastly different.
Show me some.
And 2 things that are pretty similar. In this video, I'll tell you if the Vision Pro is worth 7 times the price of the Quest 3.
Let me know. You feel what I'm saying?
Let's get it in. So reason number 1, price. The Quest 3 headset is made by Meta. It starts at $500 for 128 gigabytes of storage with the option to upgrade to 512 for an extra $150, which brings the total maximum price to $650.
Okay. And I'm seeing so far, it looks significantly smaller than the Apple Vision. Because the Apple Vision, it's pretty thick. I'm not gonna lie. From what I've been seeing, it's pretty big.
It's made from a mostly plastic design with cameras along the front, allowing for pass-through augmented reality. It also comes with controllers to help you navigate the menus and play games. The controllers are not required for a lot of applications as the front cameras have hand tracking, but controllers definitely makes using it a lot easier for me. The Apple Vision Pro is made by Apple. It's $3,500, which gets you 256 gigabytes of storage. You can upgrade to 512 or 1 terabyte for a maximum price of $3,900.
That is
Although
crazy.
the capabilities of tech in these headsets are different.
You can get a car for that
Just
price.
looking at it from a purely financial standpoint, the Quest 3 provides more value for the money. The Quest 3 features dual LCDs with a resolution of 2064 by 2208 pixels per eye with up to 120 frames per second. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM and 110-degree field of view, which gives you a sense of wideness when looking through it. Battery life is between 1.5 hours or 3 hours
like what I'm
depending
seeing.
on usage. It also charges via USB-C. Apple Vision Pro has two 1.41-inch micro LED displays, delivering a total of 23 megapixels across both displays. In terms of resolution, it converts to 5338 pixels in width by 4153 at height.
Okay.
This is pixels per eye. It has 16 gigabytes of RAM, and the field of view is not disclosed by Apple, but it is more narrow than the Quest. It has spatial audio built in. It charges with a battery pack that's completely external, and that's USB-C in, and it's a proprietary connector out. You can expect around 2.5 to 3.5 hours of battery life. A few things worth mentioning from these specs is that Apple Vision Pro has double the RAM, more than double the resolution, way more sensors and cameras, and also a bigger battery life. But one of the trade-offs is that you have this external battery pack that you always have to lug around with you, and it's not all contained to one headset. Also, when looking at size, the Quest 3 is actually a little bit bigger, but once again, it has a built-in
Oh, my bad. So, okay, the Quest 3 is bigger than the Apple Pro. Okay.
battery. Now, comparing spec to spec, obviously Apple Vision Pro wins, hands down, and then better for that price. Now, I do have a reason to pick the Quest over the Apple Vision Pro.
Okay,
and
let me
this one
know.
is very important, and that's comfort. So the Meta Quest 3 has a pretty simple head strap. It goes around your head and then it goes up the middle. This provides a nice secure fit, but over time it can get a bit front heavy. I can wear the headset for about an hour of active work before I have any discomfort. The Apple Vision Pro comes with a pre-installed solo headband, and they also tossed in a head strap that goes over the top. This one, however, connects to your head horizontally. The solo loop to me does a great job if you're on the headset for only a few minutes sitting down and not getting active. But once you become more...
You know, something I think about this, though, it's like, is it worth buying for maybe about an hour of playtime, work time, whatever the case may be? I don't think it is, though. Like, let's just say I were to buy an Apple Vision Pro, right? I don't think I'm getting my bang for my buck for paying $3,500 for about maybe an hour or two of like working or playtime, which for the most part, I would probably only use this maybe for watching movies or shows, literally. So I don't know. Both of them are interesting.
Or active or you're walking around, you really start to feel the weight of the unit. With this, you can dial in the tension with this wheel. The second strap that it comes with, I found to be much more comfortable. It holds the weight better, and it's something that I've worn for up to 2 hours without any issues at all. So moving forward, this has been my new default strap. I am definitely surprised that the Apple Vision Pro isn't more comfortable after the whole fitting process that you do on your phone and also when you go into the store. That is a big concern for me moving forward if it's something I'm going to actually want to wear. The Quest 3 definitely puts you into a virtual world, and from there you're able to launch apps or your activities. But before you do that, you need to draw a boundary around your workspace. Drawing the boundary isn't a big deal, but it definitely slows down the process of getting into your environment. Once you have that done, you have a pretty simple UI that is intuitive to use. You can use your fingers to poke buttons or use the controllers to select things. This
That's kind of
environment
cool.
can
I ain't
move
gonna lie.
around and spatial just like Vision Pro, but you are limited to how many screens you can move in that space. And also when moving windows around, it's not as fluid. It's a little bit chunky. You can send messages to people, screen record, and there are thousands of apps available on the Meta Store. Now, once you launch an app, it takes over your whole experience, and there's no way to run more than one app at a time.
Which is
It
understandable.
definitely a singular app experience.
I mean, plus this is something that's literally on your head, which I'm assuming can and probably will get hot. So personally, I'm happy that like it's not built for that, for like multiple apps, because it's literally something that's on your skull, on your cranium, and you don't want that affecting your brain in any type of way. So okay, that's cool. Okay, it's understandable.
The Apple Vision Pro does the same thing, but it does focus on AR a bit more than 100% VR. You can still see your environment around you, and that's typically how most people use the headset. Now, there is a way to go 100% immersion, which would then basically blank out everything but the apps you are using. It uses cameras to see your world, and then it puts the image into your headset, just like the Quest. The first time you use it, you need to run through a 3 to 5 minute setup process, scanning your hands and measuring your eyes. Now, once that is done, you are in the interface. The layout is much more simpler than the Quest 3, where you have rows of apps with multiple pages, just like a big iPad. As of right now, there aren't any customizations here at all. So all the apps are laid out, there's no additional folders, and it's all alphabetical order. The way you select something, you just look at it and pinch your fingers together. The cameras on the headset can see your hands pretty much anywhere you're at, so when you pinch your fingers, it registers it. When you launch apps, they are in this environment, and you can launch several apps and have them in different spots in your environment. You can even leave apps open in different rooms, like putting a digital TV in a room that doesn't have a TV. Or on FaceTime, you can walk away and that box is still in that space. So when we talk about interface, that has to go to the Apple Vision Pro due to the fact you can run more than one app at a time. You can move them wherever you want, and you can install iPhone and iPad apps on there too, which expands the app library greatly day one.
I mean, but as an adult, I think I think you should be very responsible with, I guess, the amount. Let's just say someone gets a Meta Quest 3 or whatever. I think most adults should be very responsible in like the amount of apps they try to bring up, because realistically speaking, you don't need that many apps up anyways. I know on our phones we do it all the time, but for something that's on your head, I don't think you need that many up. I think it's just doing the most at that point.
Being said, there are still millions of consumers who'd prefer the Quest 3 for this next feature that is available software. Now, the Quest 3 is really made for games. There is an amazing library of games, and some of the games on there are so fun you can play them for countless hours. There's also great workout apps. Superhuman was a workout app that I used a lot. I've registered over 35 hours in that app alone. And I've also bought over 15 games that I've had a lot of fun with. As far as other apps, that could be hit or miss. Also, watching video on here can be a good experience, but some of the apps either are outdated or not optimized for this viewing experience, which makes the content blurry and grainy at times. What the Vision Pro lacks in quantity, they make up for it in quality. The apps that are designed for Vision Pro, the big ones like Disney Plus or NBA, are fantastic. And once you use it, you really start to get it. It gives you a glimpse of what to expect in the future for Vision Pro. And honestly, the Quest 3 doesn't have anything that will come close to this at all. To truly understand it, you should do a Vision Pro demo at an Apple store, and I can guarantee it, you'll say, oh, now I get it. Also, the pass-through mode, which is when you can see your environment, it does a great job at showing your environment, but there are still some issues viewing screens. So if you get a text message or you want to look at another
I
TV,
see.
for example, you can't. Also, if you don't have great lighting in your house, the immersiveness is lost, as you can start to see pixels and other digital elements. Apple Vision Pro and good lighting, the pass-through is absolutely amazing. It is stunning, and everyone who puts it on says the same thing. They say, oh, wow. Like, wow. But just
when did the Meta Quest 3 come out? Did it come out in 2022? I feel like it did, I'm assuming.
Like the Meta Quest 3, when it goes into lower light, it does lose quality. I will say the Apple Vision Pro can do better in low light than the Meta Quest 3, but they both kind of snap you back into reality that you're wearing a headset. You know, as I mentioned before, not all apps are designed for Vision Pro, but if you put an app on here that is not made for it, you can still use it, you can still put it in your environment, all those things, but the buttons are not laid out for it, and it does get a little bit tough to use. I truly hate to say it, but Meta definitely has some catching up to do, as Apple came in with the haymaker with the first headset. The Quest today is a more complete headset. It's designed for gaming with some unique apps sprinkled in, and also giving you a controller to use the interface makes it more accessible for people. If you want the best technology in a headset, and you want to experience what a headset could be, obviously get an Apple Vision Pro. If you want the best headset available today, and one that won't break the bank, get a Meta Quest 3. So if you're even slightly considering buying the Apple Vision Pro, you want to watch my full video of the experience of buying one of these things. I documented the entire process on release day, and I'll show you exactly what the setup looks like.
I appreciate that, broski. You feel what I'm saying? I truly do. I appreciate you, letting me know the truth and giving me all the info and the good deeds. I appreciate that. I feel him. So really right now, your best thing to get is the Meta Quest 3. Unless you just got money like that, unless you just big baller and you can just buy an Apple Vision Pro, then, do what you do. But I know for me, if I really want this, I probably will get the Meta Quest. Thank you for that recommendation. Let's just see what else they was talking about here.
How sick is that?
My big thing, the thing I most want from the future of this tech is, if this looks so good, if it feels to us like there's an object in front of us, can in the pretty near future there be...
Hold on, sorry. But I definitely think when the MetaQuest 4 comes out, I think it will probably contest with the Apple Vision Pro at the time, which would be very interesting.
Be a person sitting in front of us, and they don't jiggle, and the light looks right, and their digital avatar looks real, and there is a friend of ours sitting on the couch in this experience with us also. And they can see the digital object, and they can see us.
And then we all go to the moon together. Yeah, that does make a little too much sense to not be in the cards for something in our future.
Even better than FaceTiming my mom, could I feel like she's sitting there in front of me? I would really love that. The problem is that right now in the Vision Pro, objects look pretty amazing, but people look like this.
Your persona doesn't look that
Yeah,
bad.
like look at that. That does not look good. Like this is something that, like I said earlier, right? I think we're still not there yet when it comes to VR, AR, the MetaQuest, whatever you want to consider it. We're still not there yet. Like we're very, very close, but we're not there to the point to where you could, like, let's just say a few years back, you'll see something in a movie and be like, oh man, I hope we got that 3 years later from now. And 3 years later, we got shit like this. I don't know. We're getting close though. VR and all that good stuff. We're getting very, very close to really what it should look like or how we imagine it to be. But this right here, no.
It's like you. Like if I got a call, I'd be like, oh, it's Cleo.
I mean, she looks better.
Apple has you create a persona, which is a fancy word for you scan your face and you create an avatar. Here's what that process looks like, and here's my final result. It looks like me-ish.
Even though your hair is stuck to your head, like glued to your head, it's exactly how it would have been when you scanned. But I can see your eye movement, I can see your facial expressions, like micro expressions with like eyebrows and like...
They just make up your teeth.
Yeah, but his just look crazy. Like, this looks crazy. Like, if you have a camera that can literally show what you look like, I feel like it should be able to represent that. This looks wild.
And your tongue.
Yeah.
Because you never stuck your tongue out during the scan, but...
I would have preferred... Wait, stick your tongue out again?
That's crazy.
But you gotta admit, it's a big leap forward from the avatars that we had just a few years ago. And Meta's avatars are way better now as well. Right now, FaceTiming friends in their personas does feel weird. But like, can you tell who this is?
That's disgusting.
What's up, guys? It's me, Ryan, I promise. It's 100% me, not AI-generated voice, representing myself in a persona.
That's Ryan Trahan. You might have seen him on YouTube. If that's the progress that we can make in just a couple years, what's a couple more years out from here? And from there, and from there?
I mean, but granted, we have to know also how long did it take Apple to make this product? If it took them 10 years to make this, then shit, we are extremely behind. Because then it's going to take another 10 years for them to come out with a version 2 that's even better than this one.
I'm optimistic here. This is a future that we totally could have. For another Huge If True episode, Marquez and I both had our bodies scanned to make digital doubles. Maybe in the future you get scanned once and then you look real in the digital world. If this is V1, I'm pretty hopeful for V10. Just think about how you would use that. Is it grandparents with their grandkids, or soldiers with their families, or long distance relationships? There are just so many more ways that we could feel connected to each other. I want a device that connects me more to the people that I love, not isolates me. This chart haunts my dreams. It shows who Americans spend time with over our lifetimes. And what you see is that most of the time that we get with our parents passes before we turn 18. The same is true of our friends. Coworkers and children kind of rise and fall. But most of all, over our lives, we spend more and more time alone. My greatest hope for this device is that it helps us make those charts look very, very different in 50 years. That like spending time with other people is not as difficult in the world that we've set up.
We would be able to count it as spending time.
Yeah.
Like in the past, sending a letter to someone, you might not count that as spending time. Sending a text message, you might not count that as spending time. A phone call? Okay, now we're talking. Maybe we're spending concurrent time. A video call, FaceTime? That's closer to spending time with someone. A hologram next to you that appears realistic and can have a conversation and body language and eye contact? feels like spending
That would
time
be
with
crazy.
someone. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
Technology has connected us, and yet studies show that people feel more isolated than ever. Can new technology help make that better? My dream for this device isn't an infinite computer monitor. It's more connection with the people that I love.
I know nothing can replicate being in person with someone in real life, or maybe it can in the future, but nothing yet can. I think the entire last 100 years of telecommunications have been, how close can we get? How close can we get? How close can we get? Like, can we hear each other's voices? Can we see each other's faces now? Can we like see each other's whole bodies and feel like we're sitting together in a room? Like, all of this is how much can we trick our primate brains into feeling like we're there with each other in person.
After using this and other VR headsets, it is clear that we are a long way from feeling like we're really in person together. But if teleportation is the future that this kind of tech is trying to get us toward, heck yes, sign me up.
This is surprisingly close. And again, this is still, you said V1, this is technically in beta. This could be VO dot whatever. And I think what Apple knows is this is the thing that they want to rapidly improve as quickly as possible because, yeah, they're getting made fun of now because it's like your PS3 avatar or whatever. But, yeah, I fast forward a little bit
That's
and I feel
facts.
like this is realistically spending time with someone, which is crazy. This comes back to again, this is a first-gen product. What happened to the first-gen iPhone?
Yeah.
It was a tech company taking a bet on a new technology, these capacitive displays, that ended up being a great bet in tech that literally changed humanity. And a lot of people are making the same comparison with this. This is a first-gen product jumping into a new technology, seeing what they can do with it, and theoretically could also have a gigantic effect down the road on humans. Just the way we use tech in general, the way we expect to share computing experiences.
The Apple Vision Pro and
See, but that's the thing though. How quickly can Apple improve this product? Because we know they bring out new iPhones, every year, correct? If I'm not mistaken. They bring out new iPhones every year. With this product, I don't think they'll be able to improve it every year. Unless they're literally working on it right now. like they got their workers at work right now improving it, then maybe. But I think at max, it'll at least take them around 2 years. So they released this, which is, I guess, technically a beta or like a kind of like a test per se, to see how the public reacts to it. I think at least within 2 years, I think they can probably come out with a version 1, 1.0 or whatever. That would probably be a lot better. Because Apple, they're pretty proficient when it comes to their technology. Even though it might be like minor changes, but usually when it comes to upgrading and making it different, they're pretty quick with it. So I'm curious to see how quickly they'll be able to change this.
Devices
or
like
improve
it are cool. There's no denying that. Is it $3,500 worth of cool? I have no idea. And honestly, that's not what this show is for. But I do think
True,
this
but
kind of technology.
We all know what she meant. We all know she was gonna say no. It's not worth $3,500. We all know this. It's not.
Is undeniably huge if true. The huge part is the opportunity to create a future where we can digitally teleport ourselves to other places and into our own memories and to see other people. And the if true part is, can it feel real enough to be worth it? But again, this is the worst this tech will ever be. And we've created a world where more and more people move away from people that they love and work from home and over a lifetime end up alone. And my greatest hope for V10 of this kind of technology is that it helps to solve that. I really do think that that's possible. And that is a future worth rooting for.
Okay, for sure. I feel that. I truly feel that, because if one of these VR techs can literally make it where you have basically, let's say you're on FaceTime, and instead of it only being your face, they're showing the full body of this person next to you, and vice versa with your body. And then if they could do that, I think that's peak, honestly. That's literally peak. I think that would be showing us that, we're capable of getting there, and we will be there at that point.